This is video number 3 for Excel 2010 in the Go book, Chapter 3, Project 3B. We're on page 403, Activity 3.16, inserting multiple rows and creating a line chart. So it says go to the row header area, which is these gray numbers over here, to display the fat black arrow pointing to the right, and then drag down to select rows 8 to 24. And it says click Insert. First we have to right click and then click Insert, and it will insert the number of rows that we selected. So if we did 8 to 24, how many rows is that? That is 17 rows. So we got 17 new rows in there. And now it tells us to go to row 25. And again, I'm having a redrawing problem here, so I'm going to minimize this and maximize it again. And still having a little bit of trouble up here. Let's try scrolling. Okay, and how about these? Okay, if I just drag the mouse through them, I guess that'll fix it. And now we're on the bottom of page 403. Near row 25, click the Insert Options button, which is this little button here that pops up when you do an insert. And what we want to do is we want to clear the formatting from those rows, because otherwise it'll be the same as the rows that we had below. And now we're going to select A6 to F6, A6 to F6 right here. And we're going to insert a line chart. We're at the top of page 404 now, and what we want is line with markers. This would be the second row, and if you pause the mouse it tells you it's line with markers. This is the one you'll probably want to use most of the time. And so click on that and point to the border of the chart, get the four-headed arrow, drag it so it's positioned in A9, approximately under the T in the word percent. They're making this pretty precise here. Okay. And now on the Layout tab in the Labels group, we're talking about the Chart Tools Layout tab. Click the Legend button and then choose None. Click the chart title once to select it. And we've got the solid bar now. If I click twice I get the dotted line, but I want the solid line, so I'm going to click again. And you can just go up here and you can type, and we want Orange Blossom Beach as the title. We hit enter and it automatically puts that in the title for us down here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go to the end here, so click and I get the dotted line around the outside now, and I want to hit enter at the end of that to begin a new line, and it's going to be population. And it says click on the edge to make it a solid border. I clicked outside of it, then I clicked on it again. The first time you click on it you get a solid line, the second time you get a dotted line. So let's try it again, and now we've got a solid line, and I want the font size to be 20, and they say right click, so we'll right click and we will do 20 for the font size. And we're at the bottom of page 404 now. It says to save our work. And now we're on page 405, activity 3.17. And it says to make sure the chart is still selected, so you will see the handles around it when it's selected. Otherwise, that double line for a border. Otherwise, it's not selected. You'll also see the chart tools in green up here. That's another way that you know that you got your chart selected. And click the Design tab, and in the Data group click the Select button. So we're going to go Design, and in the Data group select Data. And on the right side of the displayed select Data Source dialog box. It's this dialog box right here. Under Horizontal Category Axis Labels, locate the Edit button and click on it. And I want to, it says if necessary move this to the right of the chart, but mine is already to the right of the chart. And we want to select B5 to F5, which is these numbers right here. You see, we didn't select those numbers when we created the chart, so it just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here by default at the bottom. And now what we're doing is we're going back and we are reselecting the values that are going to go along the x-axis or the horizontal axis here. So now we've got the years down there at the bottom, and we can click on OK. And your chart should look like the one at the bottom of page 405. Now we're at the top of page 406, and let me see, I should not have closed that. Let's go to select data again here, and it says in the axis labels box, click OK, and okay, now we should look like figure 3.39 on the top of page 406, and we do. I just need to hit escape here to get rid of the selection that's up on the top. So we've got years across the bottom here, just like they do in the picture, and we've got numbers going from just under 120,000 to just under 160,000 here. It says notice that the blue line does not display in the lower portion of the chart. Then on the layout tab in the axes group, click the axes button. Okay, so select it again so that we've got our layout tab. Click the axes button, and we're going to be modifying the primary vertical axis, and then we want more options down here. And this is where you can change the values that appear over here on the vertical axis. I want to make sure axis options is selected on the left. That should be selected by default. On the right, in the minimum row, click fix, which means we get to pick it. Auto means that Excel gets to pick it. So for fixed, we're going to change it to 100,000. I'm going to hit tab to tab out of there, and notice as I do, it does a live preview of what our data is going to look like. Number 7, in the major unit, change the 20,000 to 10,000. Just delete the 2 and put a 1 in there. Tab out of there again, and now you see these numbers over here. So the idea here, apparently, we can click on close, is that they want you to see the line more clearly. However, I have a problem with line charts that don't start with 0 at the bottom here on the vertical axis, because what it does is it tends to exaggerate the growth. If I do an undo here, 3 times, okay, so there's the actual growth line. And if I redo it 3 times now, it looks like the growth is much steeper, because what we've done is we've spread out these values here on the vertical axis. And it also looks like it's almost tripled from 1970 to 2010, because this point is about 3 times as high as this point, but that's not actually what happened at all. And that's about 9 minutes, so we'll probably stop this video here, and we will finish the chapter off with a 4th video on Project 3B.